Hello everyone, let me take you all to the a journey into the world of DevOps. Uh, DevOps is quite amazing, quite vast, and quite confusing as well. So today I'll try to clear the confusions that's in there. So before I begin, please raise your hand if you are a developer. Please raise your hand if you are a developer. Please raise your hand if you are here because you want to learn something about the DevOps, or if you are someone, a business owner who wants to implement DevOps cultures in your organizations. Okay, as I said before, okay, let me start with my introductions. Oops. Yeah, my name is Tara Prasad Gurung. I've been in tech industry for past 12, 13 years. I have been working as a DevOps engineer for 7, 8 years. So as I said before, there is a lot of confusions in the market regarding what DevOps is and how you want to implement the DevOps in your organizations. So as a tech guy, I think when we are trying to solve any problems, the first thing that comes to our mind is the tools, right? So for your information, there are 100, even thousands of tools out there. So it's not possible to learn all the tools, right? So if you start following the tools, then you end up going nowhere. And the one reasons, let me put another questions as well. As you all know, we don't like the way the system works or the government organization works, right? So do you think putting all these DevOps tools in the government organizations will bring some changes? I guess it's not, right? Because DevOps is not about the tools and it's also not about the technology. Okay, I repeat, it's not about the tools and it's not even about the technology. So the next confusions we have related to the DevOps is people think DevOps are the guy, they will just create some automating tools so that when you just click on the buttons, everything is done like a magic, right? Yes, we do need to write scripts to automate things, but there is few prerequisites that we need to have for the automations to work. So coming back to the previous questions again, um, do you think, like all of you know, right, there is an issue in government organizations. We know they work so slow. We know there are so many processes they do manually that we can automate, but how many of you think we can automate things on government organizations? Please raise your hand if you think we can automate things on government organizations. I guess everyone would say no. It's not something that's impossible, but it's hard there. One main reason behind this is automation needs thorough communications. Okay, this is the reasons why it's not possible to have uh, automations in government organizations. So for the non-English speakers, you may not understand this. What he's trying to say is what kind of work they do is they'll finish one part of the work and later they realize that they missed some things, right? Because they lack communications. So till that, I think this is the two things that comes to the mind when we talk about DevOps, the tools and the automations. But what I'm saying here is DevOps is not about the tools and not even the automations. Okay, so what the hell is DevOps then? So let's see. If you go to the internet and type what is DevOps, I know there are so many informations you will see about the tools and the automations, but the first thing you will see is the culture. Okay, so as we all know, so what's culture? So culture is something that we've been following for past many years, and that becomes our habits, that becomes our behavior, and that becomes the way we work. Okay, so this is one reason why I said it's not possible to practice with the tools that we can implement DevOps in the government organizations because they lack the proper culture. Okay, so now as a business owner, there's two things that we look for. Okay, if you are a business owner, you might be able to relate with this. There's two things we want to develop a quality software, The second thing is we want to bring our software as soon as possible in the market, right? This is the primary two things. So now let's talk about a few of the causes that will become a hurdle for him. Okay. The first thing, as I said before, DevOps is all about the culture. Okay. The first cultures, or let's say a bad cultures, or we call it the DevOps anti-pattern. So the first thing is uh, there are many organizations who thinks development and the operations are two different entities. Okay, they take it as a different entities, which is a big no. Let me clear this with another good example. Let's say there is a marketing agencies and they have a marketing and a design team. Okay, if they now considers putting the marketing team and the design team separately, so when they do that, they will not be able to bring a proper marketing campaign. So similarly, the development and the operation team has to be always coming together. Okay, the first pillar of the DevOps is the collaborations and the communications, which can happen only when you bring the two teams together. Okay, so let's see what are the bad sides of having the development and the operation teams, as isolated in a silos. The problem is developer, they start thinking like their work is just writing a code, right? So whenever there is issue in the productions or when thing fails, they start to complain. Okay, they start to blame on each other's. The development team, they shout out at the operation team thinking this is not my issue, and the vice versa. So why is this happening is because there is no proper collaboration and the communications, as the team are isolated. Okay, it's something like putting two guys in a separate room and we want them to collaborate and communicate. As we all know, developing a software needs a lot of good communications and collaborations. Why? Because we get a lot of bugs which can't be fixed without a proper communications and the collaborations. Okay, the first thing as a founder, you need to invest on a tools that can bring a collaborations and the communications. Anyone here knows one tools that can do this? Bring the communications and collaborations. Anyone knows? Yeah, GitHub is kind of one tools that can do it. How is we create a GitHub pipeline, right? So now what happens when you create a pipelines, CI/CD pipeline is now the developers he can deploy on the production as well. So now he starts feeling that power, or he starts feeling that he's part of the complete team. Okay, because he's doing the operation side as well. So when we have a proper good communications and collaborations in the team, so what happens is the empathy begins. Okay, now whenever there is an issue, they start collaborating, they start trying to fix it, and they start taking the risks as well. Okay, so the first thing is the collaborations and the communications. Now once this is achieved, as I said before, the automation part, this is kind of like the ripple effect of having a good communications and the collaborations. Once there is a proper communications with the teams, they start figuring out what are the things that's bogging them, what are the things that causing delay in the software delivery, and they start automating the stuffs. That's how the automations really works. So another cultures that we have is, I think this is the common behavior with most of the developers. Like we want to build everything, right? We think like I will finish everything in one day, right? This is what we think, but this is kind of considered as an anti-pattern on the DevOps. So the problem with this approach is, let's say a developer is working and he's just working and working and working. So meanwhile, what will the QA guy do? He will be playing carrom boards because he doesn't have the work to do. As the developer, he's piled with a lot of work, right? So what happens is we are not utilizing the resource properly. So another problem with this approach is the things that works on the local machines. Let's say is working and working, developer is working and working. Once he release or once he put the things on the productions, it may not fail. So what DevOps says is we need to do the things continuously, small in a small chunk, so that the bugs or whatever issues can be figured out earlier. okay, so that it's not piled up and the customer is the happy as well. So last but not the least, they say like, I know, I guess everyone must be familiar with the story of elephant. So what normally what it says is, you as a co-founders or you as a business owner, you need to train or you need to regularly educate your developers what business strategy you have, or you need to communicate on what what values that developer will bring once he is coding, right? Normally our behavior, or normally the developers behavior is like, they just care about codes, right? But they need to know like, where are those code going. They need to know like, what happens really when those codes goes to the productions, or what values they are bringing on the business. So once you start educating your team on the overall aspects or the business aspects, to the developers or whoever is in the team, they starts bringing new ideas, they starts bringing new strategies, they start bringing how can they really solve the issues, so that the production, so that the issue is not happening anymore. So I want everyone to think it from the overall prospect, not just one part. So before I end my sessions, I would like to show this research. So it says, as you can see, one of the organization is trying to implement the DevOps practice in their organizations. And as you can see here, the first thing they are struggling with is the habits, right? The cultures we have. So nowhere in the pictures you will see people talking about the tools or people talking about some automation tools. So if you want to achieve the best results, or if you want to have the proper uh, benefits of the DevOps, you need to start working on fixing the cultures. Okay, and the culture is something that takes a period of time to change. It's not like changing a line of a code. So start bringing positive cultures, start investing on what kind of cultures your organizations have, so that you can fix that and get the DevOps into it. Thank you.